Well, once again, a warm welcome to Morning at NTV. It's a bright Monday morning, and we have Mr. Bakutana. Just to remind you about what we spoke about last week, the discipline of successful pursuit. Number one, purpose. You should know your purpose in life. Number two, you should have confidence in that. And number three, all that can be good, but if you do not act, there is nothing to show for it. Discipline. Maybe you can start. Good morning, Mr. Bakutana.
Good morning.
Maybe you can, I'm very well. Maybe you can start by reminding us your definition of discipline.
Well, I talked about playing by the rules of the game, whichever game it is. That's my simple definition of discipline. That you play by the rules of the game, whichever game it is. If it is the game of volleyball, which I love quite a lot, being a disciplined person simply means you're not going to touch the net when you're going to spike. When you touch it, that is indiscipline. When you don't touch it, you are a disciplined player. If you are in football, to be disciplined simply means that if you are not the goalkeeper, you're not going to touch the ball with your hands. So for me, I call discipline playing by the rules of the game, whichever game it is. But you remember somebody called in and gave an amazing other definition of discipline, Alex Matovo. He said it's all about doing what you are supposed to be doing when you are supposed to be doing it, whether you feel like it or not. And I thought that was very brilliant. Yeah,
doing what needs to be done.
Yes.
You talk about playing by the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
What if the rules are probably not cast in stone? You talk of volleyball,
yes,
the clear set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
You basically talk about sport. Mm-hmm. What about politics?
Well, there is no game without rules, whether they are written or they are not written.
Okay.
Whether they are written or not, they are always there.
Playing by the rules of
yes,
the game.
Yes.
But what if we were to go to Gambia? If you were to ask Yahya Jammeh,
yes,
on one hand, and then Adama Barrow,
yes,
on the other hand,
yes,
you would get two different answers.
But well, you would surely find that there is an intersection of sets, politically speaking. And if you want to get that intersection of sets, you don't ask any of those two. You ask a third party. Like you now, if I asked you about Jammeh and Barrow, you would surely have some intersection of sets, the rules they were supposed to be playing by. Well known, clearly known.
Well, I think it depends on whom you're asking, because
exactly,
the IGP there
yes,
was on Jammeh's side, and then the EC, the Electoral Commission person,
yes,
was on Barrow's side. So I guess it also depends whom you ask. That's
well, you may need to know who appoints the Electoral Commission, the other side, and also who appoints the IGP. That will give you the answer.
Okay, let's continue today.
Yes.
We talked about purpose,
yes,
confidence,
aligning
and
your
action.
goals towards your purpose, your reason for existence.
Yes.
And then making sure that you are confident about your goals and objectives and the things you want to achieve, pursuing them with passion and enthusiasm. But indeed, when we say pursuing, number three, taking action. You don't pursue things while seated down unless your work is to consult while you are in a chair. So action, yes.
Okay. So what's number four?
So number four today is the issue of skillfulness. They are things that we need if we are going to achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves. And I want to give us some 4 specific skills that you must have if you're going to achieve your goals this year. The first skill is the skill of leadership. Everybody, anybody, anywhere on the face of this earth needs some basic leadership abilities. Whether you are on TV, you need some leadership abilities. Whether you are, whatever you are doing, you need leadership capabilities. And when we are talking about leadership, we are talking about the ability to influence. We are talking about the ability to move from here to there, here representing your current situation, there representing your vision and where you want to be. Leadership, we are talking about the ability to mobilize those that you need. If you realize that your goal or your resolution or your objective involves other people, then you need leadership skills. So if, for example, what you're going to be doing involves your driver, you need leadership skills to lead him. If what you're going to be doing involves a team of 5 people that you're going to work with in that business office, in that business space, then you need leadership skills in regard to those 5 people. If what you're going to be doing is going to involve communicating with 152 people in different districts or across the continent or across the world, you strongly need leadership skills. If you're going to be dealing with yourself, only. You need leadership skills. That is self-leadership.
That's what I wanted to ask. I said, what if, I'm just a simple person going about my simple job?
Yes.
Do I still need to be a leader?
That's why we have the concept of self-leadership. Now, when you talk about self-leadership, you're talking about not waiting for the police that you were talking about before I came in to come and stop you from touching somebody's pocket without his permission. That is self-restraint. That is self-policing. You are not waiting for anybody to come to your bed in the morning and tell you to wake up and quickly go to pursue your goal. That is self-leadership. You are leading yourself, and so on and so forth. So leadership skills, that's skill number one that anybody needs. And that's why personally, I'm devoting the whole of my life to develop and empower leaders, to mobilize them, to train them, equip them, inspire them, so that they can be able to of course, through communication, education, and inspiration, so that they may be able to attain personal development, attain institutional effectiveness, and also to attain national transformation. So leadership skills. Yes. Skill number two, basic accounting skills. Everybody needs basic accounting skills. Probably you are here viewing, you are watching us, and you are one of those people who, instead of having more money at the end of the month, you always have more month at the end of the money.
There's a joke going around. How many months does January have?
Amazing question.
Yeah,
how many months does January have?
Yes.
You know what? Why they ask that? Because blessed are those who waste their money in December, for they shall see what it means to struggle in January. So we need basic accounting skills. And here what we are talking about is not you going to be, a professional in accounting and finance and auditing and so on and so forth. What we are simply talking about is, do you know how much you got last month? And do you know where you spent it? Do you know where it went? There are some of these people who are always asking, I work hard, I sweat, but where does my money go? But who uses it with you? Who are you asking? So you need to be able to account to yourself concerning your finances. That's a very important basic skill. But skill number three is communication, public speaking. Everybody needs this. Whether for you think you are not in public speaking, or you know that you really are speaking, you need this. In the certificate in public speaking and presentation mastery, which we offer at my organization, we always tell people that you can never whatsoever, as long as you are alive, run away from speaking in public. Maybe it will be on your graduation day, you will say something. Maybe it will be on a funeral of a close dear friend and you are the best friend, you will be requested to say a word about him or her. Him rest in peace. Maybe it will be on your wedding, or it will be on your son's birthday party, or maybe it will be on your own birthday party, or whatever it is, or maybe it will be in the boardroom when you are trying to speak, to inform, to educate your team. You can never run away from speaking in public. And for me, whenever they ask me what public speaking is all about, I tell them it's all about communicating with one other person. As long as there is some other person you are speaking with, you are now speaking in public. And you need to be equipped, you need to be empowered, you need to be given the tools that you need to be able to stand up. And when they say, for instance, please may you come and give a vote of thanks, you don't start to clap your knees because of anxiety and wanting to fly away, but you tell people to clap their hands. So public speaking is very key. Communication, everybody needs to learn to communicate. Most of these challenges we have in businesses, in churches, in mosques, in public institutions is simply because there is a communication gap. In marriages, it's just because there is a communication gap. Recently, I was addressing a team of 100 couples in Ginger. And I shared with them the 10 top causes of conflicts in marriage. And communication was number 2. So communication is very key. Then skill number 4 is sales and marketing skills.
Sorry. Number 4.
Yes.
Number 4.
Sales and marketing skills. Sales and marketing. Everybody sells. Everybody markets. If you think you don't have a product that you are selling or a service you are giving, just know that you are your first product. You are your first product. When you go to that interview room, you are selling yourself. When you young man who needs fresh apples for single people, the moment you go and you propose to that lovely, smashing, lovely young lady, you are doing an act of selling. And if she says yes or she says no, will be dependent on whether your selling skills are really good. Everybody is always selling. When you stand up in a pulpit as a pastor to preach, you are selling the gospel to those people. And when you make an altar call, you are actually saying, can you now buy?
Well,
so those 4 skills, they are so key. If you must achieve or attain those skills if you're going to achieve any dream, any goal, any aspiration. Okay,
just to interrupt you there, we have opened the phone lines if you do have a question for Mr. Bakutana as we talk about the discipline of successful pursuit. Yeah, we will be happy to hear from you. Should we go to number 5?
Oh, yes. Why not? The discipline of tenacity.
Tenacity.
Tenacity. When we talk about tenacity, it's not about rocket science, not something very disturbing. It's just all about persistence. It's all about going all out against all odds and doing it whatever it takes. Taking massive action even when there is massive opposition. Even when you are surrounded by massive problems, amidst massive storms, you still take massive action to move forward massively. That is what tenacity is all about. As you try to work on your dreams, as you try to work on your aspirations and so on and so forth, you are surely going to face opposition. You are surely going to face storms. You are surely going to feel pain here and there. But what I want to tell you is that if you're going to achieve anything this year, and anyway, any other year remaining in your life, you must be a person who is tenacious. You must keep moving on against all odds. You must keep focused on the prize and not the price. Maybe one of the things that causes us to give up when we are faced with storms in the pursuit of our dreams and aspirations is the fact that we take our eyes off the prize and we fix them on the price. The price we are paying, what we are going through, the challenges we are facing, the money that is not coming, the people that are disapproving us, the family members that are not supporting us, the workmate who is stabbing us in the back, the boss who doesn't want us to strive, and so on and so forth. We have a lineup of challenges and problems, and all that we do is to focus our eyes on the problems, the price that we have to pay, and we forget the prize that lies right ahead. For me, what I do is focusing on the prize that lies right ahead. That goal I want to achieve. That book I want to write. That entity I want to establish. That business I want to do. That marriage I want to achieve. That kind of friendship, that is where I focus my eyes, regardless of the price I have to pay. So if you're going to achieve anything this year, you must be very tenacious. If you think that the road is going to be straight, then I think you still have some thinking to do. The road can never be straight. The storms must come. The problems must come. The challenges must come. But who knows? Maybe what you are calling a breakdown may be a source of your breakthrough. Maybe what you look at as a stumbling block could be your stepping stone to the next level. So tenacity.
Moving on.
Yes.
A friend I got to know yesterday, someone had huge acres of mangoes and they got burnt. In the face of that, how can someone still remain positive? And I don't know if you'd want to share, I know you shared on another platform, how you were involved in a motor accident at some point.
Oh yes, some 4 years ago.
Yes, and it was actually a serious
terrible
motor accident.
Yes, I got 3 bones broken in my right foot. I was hit by a trailer on the northern bypass. I got 3 bones broken in my foot. My whole ankle was almost removed. I had a deep cut here which was stitched. I had very many wounds on my back. I spent 4 months walking on 2 crutches. It was terrible.
So maybe that is something people need to know, because for you to sit here and say, oh, move on, move on, move on, someone may not actually know your story, that you were, should I say, incapacitated for 4 months.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, you're just telling us about your ankle now, you know, being shattered.
Yes.
You said you kept your eye on the prize and not on the price, because at that point, it must have been very hard for you.
It was very hard, definitely. I remember what helped me is the difference I always tell people, the difference between joy and happiness. I think this is the right time to talk about that, joy and happiness. Quite often, people are pursuing happiness, and when happiness goes, they remain with no joy whatsoever. Happiness, let me explain this way. Happiness is all about the way you feel as a result of what is happening. Happiness out of happenings. happiness is all about what happens. So if something nice happens, you feel you have happiness. If something wrong happens, you feel your happiness has gone away. But when we talk about joy, we are talking about something internal, something from inside, the satisfaction, the fulfillment from the inside. So when I got this accident, when I was hit by a trailer on the northern bypass and my bones were shattered and I was in a plaster cast, I was rushed to, and so on and so forth, my happiness went away. I can't say I was happy. That would be a lie. I wasn't happy at all. I was in excruciating pain. I had never experienced such a pain like that. But you see, my joy remained because my joy is not affected by the happenings on the outside. My joy is because of what is in the inside. And that's what I'm talking about. The tenacity, the focus on the praise and so on and so forth. I kept moving. And my friend, I got a number of people who later told me stories that were so encouraging. I remember one young man who came with some young people who came to visit me when I was down, and he stood up and he said, they called me Uncle Sam in that group. He said, when we went to check on Uncle Sam, we had gone ready to encourage him. But do you know what? We came back when we were the ones who were encouraged. He's the one who was encouraging us, and that's what I'm talking about.
Now, Uncle Sam, I'm being encouraged to stop here. But thank you for sharing that. Unfortunately, we're not able to go on.
Yes.
But hopefully we will have you and
Yes.
As you complete the fifth.
Could I use this simple example as we end, since you talked about the fire? Since you talked about the fire, in the 1930s, when there was the Great Chicago Fire, it burnt the whole of Chicago. People's businesses were totally burnt to ashes. There was one specific man who came the following morning, and when he looked around, he was trying to locate where his store was, and when he located the exact place, he put there a signpost, and he said, everything is burnt and lost except wife and children. Business begins again tomorrow as usual. That's the attitude I'm talking about. Please have that attitude of not giving up. Remain tenacious. And just in case, maybe people would like us to continue this discussion, maybe I may need to leave my phone number.
Okay.
You may want to write this, and we continue this discussion. 0782 16 34 16. That number is on WhatsApp. 0782 16 34 16. Let's continue the discussion. And just remember, hashtag
You will manage.
You will manage. Hashtag you will manage.
Well, we've got to end it there. Morning at NTV does continue, but do go out and be successful
Yes.
in your pursuits
It's
this
possible.
day.
You will manage.